Now we get to the top 10 best movies that I saw in 2016. This is not the critics list, it's my list. We're going to start at number 10. This movie surprised me. I know some people were kind of like, it was there. I thought it was really well done, especially since the show was like over 2 decades ago. Legends of the Hidden Temple, the movie. Yes, this movie was really good. I was surprised too. It's based on a game show that came out when I was a kid. I loved the game show. The movie had a lot of references to the game show. It felt like a long episode of the game show, but mixed with an adventure film with these wonderful children that were really good together. They played a family very well. Isabella Mona was very cute. She was really good in the film. The two boys that were her brothers, they knocked it out of the park. They had to carry most of the film. I could have done without the adults characters, but the kids were great. The when they had the statue that was talking, awesome. It looked just like in the show. You had the original host in a cameo, in an extended cameo. You had really good sets. You had CGI that was better than anything in Gods of Egypt. It was well done for a TV movie. I was very surprised. Nickelodeon hardly does anything good anymore. This was nostalgia, but done right. Not like Rogue One that beats you over the head. Remember that? Remember this? Remember that? Remember this? No, this movie was definitely a trip down memory lane, and I could not be happier. I loved it. I thought it was great. I want to get it on DVD if it comes out. It was a lot of fun. Sue me, I thought it was really fun. And Nickelodeon, this is their best film I've seen in a while since Swindle in 2013. So, that, way to go, Nickelodeon. You did a movie I actually enjoyed that made my top 10. Okay, number 9. This is an obscure movie. No one's going to have this on their best of list, but it was released in January of 2016 in limited release theaters. It is called Lazer Team. This is a YouTube Red movie that a lot of people didn't know about, but I saw it. I thought it was hilarious. This is what Fembusters should have been. It's four guys messing with this alien technology that they don't understand. One of them wears boots that makes them run fast. The other has like a cannon like Mega Man. One wears a helmet and the other has like a shield like Captain America. It's awesome. This movie had really good effects. The cast was spot on. The British guy, he's there. I'm not gonna praise him to high heaven, but the rest of the cast was fine. The black guy and the guy with the girlfriend that's blonde, Alexandra DeBerry. She's really beautiful. She was good in this. I saw her in Ant Farm years ago, and I thought she was like they made her way too stupid. Here, she's competent and she has a decent script, so she has stuff to work with. She has a fight scene that's awesome that she beats up her boyfriend. I'm like, that's awesome. Like, this is something different. It was something different. It wasn't a remake. And it was cool, and the effects worked. And for a YouTube Red movie that was in theaters, so it counts, I was very surprised. It was actually funny. Fembusters wasn't funny. Creep jokes. Ha ha ha. This didn't have that. It had witty dialogue. It was really fun. The cast had very good chemistry. The film flowed very well. It wasn't that long, and it was a blast to watch. And I watched it on my computer, and I was like, wow, this movie should have been in more theaters. This movie shouldn't have bombed. It had like a $20 million budget or so, and it looked great. There are movies with $120 million that look like shit. This wasn't one of them. This was actually a good film. Suck it, critics. This movie was a lot of fun. I would have loved to have seen this in the theater because I love a good laugh and I like a cast that actually, of unknowns mostly, they're not really well known actors, but they did a good job. And I praise them for that because they made a movie that was actually fun to watch and not a chore to get through. Okay, number 8 is yes, a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I don't care. I wore this mask when I saw this movie in the theater. Theatrical cut, extended cut, who cares? It's flawed, but I enjoyed it. Batman via Superman, Dawn of Justice. Do you bleed? You will. I enjoyed this movie. What the hell is the problem with this film? Besides, there's 3 problems I had with this movie. Lex Luthor Jr. sucked as a movie villain. Jesse Eisenberg was trying too hard. Henry Cavill just doesn't do it for me. His face is so boring. He doesn't smile. He's just so tortured. He looks like he's going to slit his wrist. I just didn't like him. And also, the movie had way too many things in it, rushing Doomsday and the death of Superman and all that. That could have been saved for another movie. You don't have to put 15 billion things in this movie. What worked was Ben freaking Affleck as Batman. He kicked Henry Cavill's ass. He beat up those guys like it were nothing, breaking off their limbs, being a badass. That's the Batman I wanted to see in Nolan's trilogy all the way through. That's the Batman that I wanted to see for many years since the Michael Keaton versions. That's the Batman that's going to carry Justice League next year. And the critics can suck it. You're just a bunch of DC haters. Batman made Superman bleed. Yeah, the fight could have been longer. Yes, it could have been. It was flawed. Yes, it had some nonsensical things like Martha and all that. I get it. But Batman saved this freaking movie for me. Gal Gadot, sexy Wonder Woman. I can't wait for a movie next year. I hope that she does. I hope the movie's not edited to shit because I want it to be good. I want it to. I don't hate DC. They gave me this movie, and it could have been a hell of a lot worse. It could have been, oh, it's boring. Well, you people have never read a comic. There's a lot of comics that have a lot of dialogue and no action. This movie wasn't that bad. I've seen much worse. I suffered through Batman and Robin when I was 12. This is not Batman and Robin. I would take this any day over Batman and Robin. Lex Luthor Jr., freaking Eisenberg can never destroy this movie for me. One day he's going to get punched right in the face by Batman, and he's not going to miss this time. When the action was there, it was well done. Zack Snyder knows how to shoot a freaking movie. There wasn't shaky cam. The scenes with Batman blowing shit up and using a gun didn't bother me. He is the sole purpose to watch this movie. I loved it because of him. Affleck sold it like a champ. He was awesome. Loved him. I can't wait to see his own standalone film against Deathstroke. That's going to be bad ass. And this movie made me look forward to some of the things of DC. You just got to make a good movie with the Justice League. You can't screw that up. You got to make it right. This movie had flaws, a lot of flaws, but it still managed to be entertaining despite that. Fuck the haters. I'm sick of haters. They're going to shit on every DC movie that comes out now. This one I enjoyed more than Suicide Squad. And unlike this Force Awakens, I didn't feel mixed at the end when I left the theater because I had a badass Batman that got me through the movie with one swift stroke. And like I said, it's not the worst thing ever. Give me a break. I've seen much worse. This movie couldn't be any worse unless Batman was in the movie for 2 minutes, like he was in Suicide Squad. Here, he kicked ass. It was his movie all throughout the film. Affleck kicked ass. Batfleck, can't wait to see more. And I enjoyed Batman vs Superman. I don't have it on Blu-ray, but I will get it by next year. I don't think it's the worst movie ever made. Give me a break. This is in the world where we live, where Catwoman exists. Yeah, right. Please. BVS wasn't that bad. Give me a break. I enjoyed it. Haters are just gonna hate on it because it's DC and it tried something different and they're like, oh, it's shitty because it's got no action. Not every movie, comic book movie needs to be mindless action. Sometimes I want a good story. It had a coherent story in the extended cut. Yes, in the theatrical cut it had some flaws, but the film still had some entertainment value. That's why it's in my top 10. So fuck the haters right in the face. Okay, now number 7, Alice Through the Looking Glass. Yes, I enjoyed this movie. I saw it in the theater with my family. I had a ball. I thought it was better than the 2010 film. Sue me. Alice was a complete badass in this movie. Mia Wasikowska. Yeah, Johnny Depp is underused, but it's not his movie. I didn't mind the story that they did with his family. I thought it brought a lot of heart to the film. I love the visuals. I don't care what people say. I think it looks fantastic. It sucked me right in. The time traveling bit and all these beautiful surroundings and all the colors and everything. And also, I didn't mind Sacha Baron Cohen. He should have been the villain time. He was awesome. His accent didn't bother me. The costumes were great. I love Alice's Asian outfit. It's so beautiful. Just I enjoyed it. It was a sequel that came a long time after the last movie, but I'm glad that I saw it because Disney did a lot worse this year than this. I thought it was good. I know my friend hated it. It's fine. It's not for everybody, but it's the kind of weird that I enjoy. Even though Tim Burton didn't direct it, I still thought it was very entertaining. And for a sequel, it could have been a lot worse. But Alice Through the Looking Glass, very enjoyable sequel. One of the few sequels this year that didn't suck for me. That was not a comic book movie. So, and like I said, it wasn't the best, but movie of the year. But it wasn't the worst either, and I liked it. So for what it was, I had a fun time in the theater. Okay, next is another Disney movie. This is the animated movie that I saw from them, and that is, no, it's not Moana, it's Zootopia. Well, I have the Blu-ray right here, so let me show it. Zootopia. Beautifully animated film. Really good characters. the themes, the adult themes, are what the critics jerked off to. They're like, oh, it's about social status and prejudices and all that and integration. I get it. Okay, I thought the animation was stunning. This was Pixar like animation, really good characters. That the bunny was really cute. Jason Bateman's character Nick the fox was really funny. Really good, well done cast. You got J.K. Simmons, and you got Helen Slade. You got Tommy Chong. You got Idris Elba, but he's tolerable, and it was really funny. That scene in the DMV still makes me laugh. The scene with the shrews that look, one of them looks like the Godfather. That was hilarious. The film wasn't too long. It was 108 minutes, under 2 hours long. The message was brought up to the kids. It's a great movie for adults, and it didn't make me suffer this year like Norm of the North. Really well done with animals, and it brought back a lot of Disney magic for me. And the fact that this movie was a huge hit, it made $1 billion. It deserved every penny, I must say. Very impressive, Zootopia. Keep up the good work, Disney. You got a great thing here with this movie. Really well done. I think it's definitely a good successor to Frozen. And for kids and adults alike, it's very enjoyable. 4 stars, I agree. It's a great movie. I thought the villain was kind of lame, but the rest of it was really well done. Good efforts for a kids movie. Okay, that was number 6. Number 5 is a movie I just saw last night. Yesterday morning. I thought it was really well done. I know a lot of people were disappointed. Critics thought this would be Interstellar. It wasn't, but I still enjoyed it, and that was Passengers. Spectacular performances from Michael Sheen, Chris Pratt, and Jennifer Lawrence. The visuals are fan-freaking-tastic. I felt like I was in space. I felt everything that they went through. I saw this movie, like, the director has a really good eye for detail. Everything in space you see, it just looks real. It doesn't look like CGI. The spaceship and the stars and the freaking reactors, everything looked fantastic. Great sound editing, great freaking music. Like I said, the romance works between Chris Pratt. Oh, the script is weak. The ending is bittersweet. Like I said, that's the only major problem I had. But Jennifer Lawrence, like, that girl can act. When she puts effort, she gives a Oscar caliber performance every time. Her emotion on her face, her reactions, her when she finds out what Chris Pratt did to her, she's when she gets pissed, I'm like, wow, I understand. I understand. Chris Pratt, when he's on his own, his acting is really good. He makes me want to see more, and I will when I see Guardians 2. The guy can act. He's great. He's a freaking awesome actor. He's come a long way since he was a comedic actor in the 2000s. And him and Jennifer Lawrence, they were like peanut butter and jelly. They worked well. This movie was great. I am not going to say it's a 6.6. It's better than that, IMDb. 30% my ass. This movie sucked me right in with the story. It had good ideas. It had ambition, which I love that. And it was original, Rogue One. Original. It wasn't a rehash. It was something different. And I respect the hell out of it for that. And I will always say this movie is worth it. Just to see this on Blu-ray when it's in 3, with the visuals, it's going to look fantastic. Just, it sucked me in. It made me want to go back and see movies like Alien and Interstellar and 2001: A Space Odyssey and Armageddon. Yeah, that was dumb, but at least I had fun with it. That's what it made me want to do. I always fascinated with space. I think sci-fi is a wonderful genre. It's my favorite genre, and when they do it right, they did it right here. I don't care what the box office receipts say at the end of the year. This movie was badass. Screw the critics, screw the haters. It was a magnum opus for this director that did Imitation Game, and visually stunning. And to me, it's Oscar worthy in my book because your 2 leads were awesome. I am not going to blame them for the bittersweet ending. They did the best they could, and they were fantastic. And for the fact that this has a small cast, they did a great job. And Lawrence Fishburne was good in a small part. Michael Sheen was great as an android. So was the rest of the cast that did the voice work. But great ideas, ambitious, beautifully done, well shot movie, amazing. I cannot say anything else. I don't want to spoil it. Go see it in the theater if you can. See it online. Just support this movie. It deserves more love and less hate. Enough said. Okay, number 4 is One of the movies that I thought that was, a very underrated sequel, another movie that got critically bashed. I loved it. I thought was better than the first one. Jack Reacher 2, Never Back Down. I mean, Never Go Back, my bad. Great sequel. Tom Cruise is still kicking ass in this movie. He's in his 50s and he's kicking more ass than guys that are in their 20s or 30s. Just much more action in the first film. Lots of chase sequences, a lot of fast pace. It never slows down for an hour. Kobe Smulders was an excellent replacement for Rosamund Pike because I hated her in the first movie. She was badass. I've always loved her in films. She's great in the Avengers and Avengers 2 and Winter Soldier. Love seeing her face. She's a beautiful Canadian actress with dark hair. She's tough and she makes tough sexy. That's something I didn't get last year. But it's a great sequel. My friend saw it online. He said it was fun. It was a really good sequel. I was very impressed. I saw this for free after I went to the homecoming in my college, and I thought it was awesome. I was like, yeah, Tom Cruise, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. And there's a villain that's actually decent in this movie. Oh, somebody pinch me. I needed that after so much bullshit villains this year in DC and Marvel films. But this one did it right. And it's a badass sequel. I can't wait to get this on Blu-ray. The first one's good too, but it was too long, had a shitty villain, and Rosamund Pike sucked in the movie. Here, Kobe Smulders was better. The young teenage girl was good. It was fast-paced, good action sequences, not too much CGI, great stunt work, by the way. I missed that. And Cruise carried the movie on his shoulders, and it was great. I loved it. I can't wait to see more. If there's never a third one, at least I got two awesome movies. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful this sequel came out just in time, that I lived to see it. Now, my top three. Number three is an awesome Marvel movie. The rest are Marvel movies, so that's going to be a giveaway. But I love this movie. This was really well done. For a movie coming out in November, it was great. And they put effort into the film. Doctor Strange. Awesome freaking movie. I loved Benedict Cumberbatch's performance in this movie. Fan freaking tastic acting. Every time something happened to him, I was like, dude, I do not blame you. I feel your pain. I want you to succeed. I really do. Everything that happened he did in that movie was just freaking magic. No pun intended. Mads Mikkelsen, decent villain. A really good performance from, Rachel McAdams, did a good, decent enough performance. I was kind of iffy on Tilda Swinton because she's the ancient one and she's some bald-headed woman that looks like a baby or a cancer patient. It kind of took me out of it, but the action, mind-boggling. It defied gravity. Just the way they bend reality and they go into these different dimensions, it looks freaking awesome. Just the visuals, fantastic. Marvel knows what they're doing. Nobody does it better. And they just knocked it out of the park. They made an awesome Doctor Strange movie. Just, Dormammu, I think it's his name, of the creature at the end where he's trying to bargain with him. That scene kind of got repetitive, but the visuals were fantastic. Just the fact that we're going to see more Doctor Strange is going to be great. The cameo at the end with Thor, awesome. Can't wait to see Thor Ragnarok. See, Marvel gives me what I want. That's why I keep supporting them. And that's why this movie kicked ass. I loved it. It's one of the best comic book movies I've seen standalone in a while. And it just reminded me why I love Marvel so much. Just they give me what I want. It's entertainment from beginning to end, and it was under 2 hours, and it was great. And I wish I had a poster of it because Doctor Strange was fantastic. But anyway, that's Doctor Strange. It's a kick-ass movie, and if it's still in theaters, go watch it and get the Blu-ray when it comes out next year because it is fantastic. And what a what a great movie to defy gravity because that's what he did every step of the way. Now, my number two. This is going to be a big one. This is one of my favorite movies of the year. I love this movie. It was the best experience I had in the theater all year. It spoiled my summer. I loved it, and it was everything I could have asked for. Right behind me, Captain America, Civil War, a.k.a. what this movie should have been. Yeah, I'm going to say it right now. This movie was better than this movie. I had a cast of characters I cared about here. I loved every second of with Spider-Man. I loved the Black Panther. Was such a badass with his freaking claws. Ching, ching, ching. Ray couldn't do that if her life depended on it. These characters were flat and boring. The only good thing was Finn, and John Boyega. I gave him a credit for that, but this bitch was nothing. I spit in her face. I will never, ever like that character and that actress. Here, Scarlett Johansson kicks ass, and so does Scarlet Witch, and so does freaking even Agent 13. She was awesome. Captain America, this is his movie. Even though it's Avengers 2.5, it's his movie. And what did this movie do that this movie didn't? The freaking airport scene. Oh my god, that was such a nerdgasm in the theater. Best scene with an ensemble of heroes since the first Avengers movie at the end when Loki and the Chitauri are fighting the Avengers. It was that awesome. When Ant-Man gets giant, I freaking creamed my pants. I was like, yeah! And when Spider-Man was like, you have a mechanical arm? That's awesome. It didn't have an emo bitch as a villain like this movie did. Yes, Zemo sucked as a villain, but the movie made up for it with the main characters. It had dialogue I cared about. Thanks to this movie, I never have to watch this movie again. Why do I have it? Because my dad bought it. I'm sorry, your hobo SJW fanfiction character couldn't wipe the ass of the Avengers. There. I said it. I said it to all these people that gave me shit last year saying, oh, I had a love-hate relationship. The only thing that these two movies have in common is that both of them are visually stunning. The effects here are great, and the effects here are great, but that is it. But your hobo sucks. This movie, every character was great, except for Zemo, who's a boring-ass villain who does nothing, and Crossbones, who was underused. But everything in this movie works. Everything. Everything, everything, everything. The fight at the end, the most emotional Marvel fight I have ever seen. This couldn't have an emotional fight. Like I said, I keep going back to that. That fight with Finn, Ray, and Kylo Ren was bullshit. It was a draw. This, Cap kicks Iron Man's ass, which didn't bother me because it's his movie. And then when Bucky loses his arm because of Tony Stark, and then Cap, when they did this, that image was freaking fantastic. I was like, oh my god, that is a comic book come to life. That is what I crave. That is what I want to see in the theater. That is something that will stick in my mind for the rest of my life. And I love this movie. I love it. It is fantastic. And it's got one thing that's not on any of the Force Awakens Blu-rays, a commentary with two directors that have knocked it out of the freaking park. The Russos. Fantastic. Yes, the first action scene, there's some shaky cam. That is it. The rest of the movie, all the action is mind-blowing. It's awesome. I loved it. Marvel, you did it again. You made the best summer movie. Best. I don't want to hear that this is a spring movie. It came out in May in mainstream theaters. I saw it. I loved it. Spidey, can't wait to see Spider-Man Homecoming. Guardians 2, I can't wait. More Avengers, yes, please. Yes, yes, yes. This movie was everything I wanted it to be. It forsake the comic, and it did its own thing, and it didn't have a downbeat ending. It was great. And like I said, thanks to this, never have to watch this movie all the way through again, because this is better, and I know it, and I love it. And I would, if this movie was a pie, I would eat it up. And just, I was so entertained from beginning to end, and there is nothing that can replace this as an ensemble superhero movie, one of the best ever. I still prefer Avengers 1 and 2, but this is pretty damn close. And if it had a better villain, it would be a 10 out of 10. This would have been my favorite of the year. But little did I know there was a film that came out before this that I thought was better only because of one major thing. But I love this movie.